Hi there, welcome to Gingerbread DIY. I'm Sarah. Thanks so much for joining me today. I know it's been a hot minute since I've been on YouTube, but I'm here today to share some gingerbread inspiration. So if you want to see what I made, stay tuned. For our first DIY, I started off with the Dollar Tree arrows. I cut them down to two different sizes and gave them a couple coats of the Waverly chalk paint in the color hazelnut. Next, I'm going to use this painter's pen. This I picked up at Walmart. My favorites are still the Poscas. I love the Posca paint pens, but I am completely out and my Michaels didn't have any in store to pick up. So I am going to have to order some. So in the meantime, I decided I would just use these painter pens. They're okay. You really have to shake them for a long time to get that paint mixed really well. And then they're kind of scratchy. They're not my favorite, but they do work okay. Next, I cut some little wood windows and doors using my laser. It is wonderful having a laser. I do enjoy it, but I know a lot of you do not. So you can either get onto Etsy or Amazon or Temu and order little doors and windows like this. You can use paper, you can use craft sticks, you can paint them on, you can draw them on, you can use stickers. The possibilities are endless. Just make these your own and put your own unique spin on them. Next, I'm going to do a little bit of embellishing on my house using that painter's pen. I'm going to do some little swirls around the door and then some dashes and dots around the perimeter of the house. Next, I'm going to embellish my house with some faux candy. Every time I use this little DIY jewel picker, you guys always ask what it is. It is literally a retractable pen that I don't have the little ballpoint pen part out, and I put some dental wax on the end of it. My daughter had braces last year, and I thought, you know what, I could make one of those jewel pickers. Now you can get a jewel picker from the craft stores. I think they run about $8. But I thought, you know what, I can make my own for free. I've got all this stuff here, and so that's what it is. It makes picking up those little tiny itty bitty decorations really easy. And then I'm just going to finish decorating up my houses using some faux candies that I picked up from Amazon, Temu, and Etsy. Now I have this basket. This was gifted to me. I threw some floral foam in there. I just put the foam in there and then added some Spanish moss on top. And I didn't glue anything in or anything. It just fit in there really nicely. Now, if you don't have a basket like that, you could use one of the cylinder baskets, or not cylinder, but the bigger baskets from the Dollar Tree. They're like the metal flower baskets. You could use those. So to get my gingerbread houses to stick into the floral foam, I am just adding a little pick at the bottom here. You could use a craft stick here if you want to, if you don't have one of these little picks, and then just shove your gingerbread houses down into the floral foam and they will stay put. And oh, this is some fencing I got from Temu. It is little tiny picket fencing. It is so cute, and I have been having so much fun using it. And I just cut off what I need with some wire cutters and then just bend those wire edges down so nothing comes unraveled. And then I'm just going to place that into my basket as well. And I just decorated my basket using floral picks, berry picks, and some pine cones. Now this would be really cute with some fairy lights. I didn't have any fairy lights on hand, and so I didn't put them in here, but this would look really cute with some fairy lights. And here is a closer look at the project. You guys, I am so excited today. I am back with my favorite gingerbread co-creator, Jackie from Crafting in a Mimi's World. Jackie and I have been doing gingerbread DIYs together for 3 or 4 years now, and I just adore all of her creations. She is going to be doing gingerbread DIYs every week this month. Go check out her channel. She has tons of inspiration and playlists. She is an amazing creator. I will leave her links down below. For this DIY, we're going to use one of these mason jar cutouts from Walmart. I gave the whole entire thing a couple of coats of the Waverly chalk paint in white, and now I'm going in with a very narrow flat paintbrush. I'm not even sure what size this is, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so, and I'm going to dip it into some watered down red paint, and I am just going to do some little striping of red all the way around the raised part of my jar. And I think that this just adds that Christmas cuteness, and it is so adorable. Now, you're never going to guess, but I ran out of the little gingerbread men that you can get at the Dollar Tree. So I actually had to cut my own. These are exactly the same size as the Dollar Tree ones. And so if you have the Dollar Tree ones, you'll see exactly how they will work in this project. I used 12 of them, and I think that that is a really great number. So I am just going to embellish my little gingerbread men with some paint. I always water down my paint a little bit to make it more fluid, and then it is much easier to paint those little faces and embellishments onto your creations. But you can do as much or as little on your gingerbread men as you want. But I think that they are so cute. Now I've got all my gingerbread men laid out. Again, I am using 12, and I was kind of racking my brain as to how I wanted to attach them. And I finally decided to use Velcro dots. Now these are big Velcro dots, and if you can find smaller ones, that would probably work better. But I just stuck the Velcro parts together and then cut them in half. One, because they were too big for my gingerbread men, and two, because this was all I had and I needed to have 12. So I really lucked out and was able to just cut the 6 that I had in half, and I just placed them on the backs of my gingerbread men. And then I'm going to stick one part onto the gingerbread man with both pieces together. I will peel it away from the paper, and then I will lay my gingerbread man down, see how it's attached together. Just want to showing you that. So now I'm going to lay my gingerbread down right where I want him to go, and I'll give him a nice firm press right there in his belly, and I'll do that to each of them. Then I went back through with my pencil and I numbered each of the gingerbread men, and I'm just using some paint and a fine paintbrush to paint those on. You don't have to paint your numbers on. You could use vinyl, you could use stencils, you could use rub-ons, whatever you want to do to get your numbers on. Now somehow I missed the recording me doing the wording at the top, but it just says countdown, and I think that this turned out really cute. You could have a little box nearby to collect your gingerbread men in, and you could either start a countdown from the 12th day of the month or 12 days before Christmas, or if you wanted to do something fun for 12 days during the month, you could do that. Bake 12 different kinds of cookies, all fun kinds of things that you could do with a Christmas countdown. This DIY was created basically by a lady named Gladys Othament. She posted in a Facebook group, and then somebody had put her creations on Pinterest, and I found this picture on Pinterest and thought it was so cute. So I did some heavy research. It took me quite a while to figure out who made it, because nobody had given any information for the creator. They just had pinned it and didn't go pin it back to the Facebook group that it came from or anything. So I had to do some research to find out. But Gladys is super talented. She is very much a gingerbread lover, and she really did a wonderful job creating these little gingerbread cooking tools. I think that they're just so cute, and I had to recreate them. I wanted some for my own kitchen, and so I thought I would share how I did that here. So you saw me paint up this spoon. This is a Dollar Tree spoon. I just took that coating off of the bottom. It's just like a rubber piece. I just cut that off and then painted the stick or the handle part white. And then I drew on my little gingerbread face. Now, I know a lot of you say you struggle with the gingerbread faces, and I get that. Yeah, I do get that. Um, some ways that you can work on that is just get a piece of paper and practice some of your own little faces. Look on Pinterest and get some ideas, and see what other people are doing. And then either you can copy them or you can try and create your own faces. But you can just kind of practice on paper. And then I always use a pencil to draw on my faces to make sure that I'm getting them right. I'm never just free painting these onto anything. So I always use a pencil first. You can't really see that in the videos, but it's there, believe me. There's no way I could probably freehand these without those pencil lines. So I really do spend some time and make sure that my pencil marks are even and where I want them. And then I go in with my paint. And the paint is just the Waverly chalk paint, but I do water it down really, really wet. It's very fluid. It is like an ink almost. And I use a fine paintbrush. Now, sometimes your paintbrush will get a little gloopy with, the paint just kind of builds up in the paintbrush. So make sure that you have clean water nearby that you can rinse your paintbrush in, and then just wipe it really well on a towel and try to get as much paint out of the base of your paintbrush, and that will help keep that fine tip at the top. I just used some washi tape here on the handle to paint, or to mask off. I'm like, what am I saying? Mask off the white so that I could paint some red stripes. And then I'm going to go in and finish doing my little gingerbread face. And I love doing these little gingerbread faces. It's very soothing to me to paint like this. I just put on some music or an audiobook and I just go into my own world, and it is very soothing to me. And I just love how they come out. I think that each little gingerbread that I paint just comes up with its own little unique personality, and I have fun giving these guys life. So this one I decided needed some freckles, and so she's gonna get some freckles. Isn't that cute? So Gladys had used these kind of pre-done bags, and then just kind of cut a hole down at the bottom to let the spoon stick come out. But I wanted to create my own little dresses, if you will, with some fabric that would match the gingerbread theme in my kitchen. So I started off kind of roughly making my fabric about the same size as the bags that I had. I do end up having to cut them down a little bit because it is a little bit bigger than I wanted. But these are super easy to make. I am using this fabric glue from Aleene's. That's it, Aleene's. And it is actually pretty smelly. It's like the kind of like the E6000 smell. It's kind of got a yucky smell. So make sure you're in a ventilated area, but it works really, really well, and it sits a lot flatter than hot glue. So you could go the hot glue route if you like, or you could sew these up, or you could, use fabric glue like this. So basically what I did was I folded the right sides together in half so that I've got a more of a hot dog shape. And then I am folding down each end of the fabric to the inside. So as you can see, I'm folding the wrong sides together. So I first folded the right sides together, and then I'm going to fold down the wrong sides together. And that top one is probably about a half an inch to an inch of a seam allowance, if you will. And that is so that we can put some string through there. So now I'm going to turn it right side out. I let that dry for a little while, and then I turned it right side out. And I'm going to have my seam facing in the back. Now, if you want to make your bags exactly like they do in the store, you can just look at a bag and, you know, basically deconstruct it and then reconstruct it. But I only wanted to have one seam so that my seam was in the back. So I just did a half fold. Now what I'm doing here is I am making this space for the twine to come out. And I just want that top layer. I don't want the back layer. So I'm going to very carefully kind of separate that out, and then very carefully using my scissors, just cut a little hole right there. You don't have to cut too much off, especially depending on the size of the twine or string that you're going to use. And as you can see, I just cut that top layer, and it's just a little hole. Next, I'm going to take some of this twine. This is just some like jute twine that is red and white, and I have no idea where it came from. I think it was gifted to me. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to knot it and put a little safety pin on it. And then I'm going to go into one side of my bag, and I'm going to string that all the way through. So this back part here, you got to go through that seam. So just, work your safety pin through, and then just keep working all the way until you get back to that hole that you first went in. Now you can kind of tie these together if you want. I did not, and I didn't have any problem with it, but if you do have a problem with it, you can just kind of tie it together to keep them in place. And then I'm going to go over to the hole on the other side, so directly opposite of the first hole, and I am going to go through again, all the way through, passing that first hole, going through the seam allowance, and then back out the hole we came. And that way we've got a drawstring. So just keep going all the way through, and just make sure that whenever you kind of make this project, you want to make sure that your seam allowance is big enough for whatever twine you are using. And ta-da, see there? We just have nice little bag. These are so cute. You could make your own little gift bags this way too. So easy. Now I'm just kind of cutting out that seam allowance a little bit. It was just a little bulky, so I'm just cutting that down a little bit. And this is where I realized that this bag is going to be too big for my spoon. And so I was like, well, what do I do? And ultimately what I just decided to do is turn the whole bag inside out. I just kind of figured out how long I wanted it. I turned the whole bag inside out, and then I'm going to use that fabric tack, and I'm just going to glue this up. Now, when you make your own, definitely check the length that you want. Make sure you give yourself a seam allowance on the top and the bottom, so like an extra inch or inch and a half at the top, and then an extra half inch at the bottom, so that when you fold up your seams, you've got plenty of fabric still left for your little dress. But yours probably won't look like this if you cut it to the right size. But this worked out just fine. It made it work, and I wasn't going to stress about it. So now I'm just going to let that dry, turn it right side out again, and now we're ready to put our little lady into her dress. And this is really essentially like a pillowcase dress. I used to make pillowcase dresses all the time for my girls. We loved them. So now I am going to just tie those drawstrings together, and I am going to bead some beads onto those drawstrings. And I thought this was such a brilliant idea. I just loved everything that Gladys did with this project. I think she did just an amazing job on it. So I am using a bead threader. You can get these off of Amazon, and they make threading beads onto anything so much easier. So, and they're only like $4. They're really cheap. So if you don't have one, I suggest you go get one. They're super, super great. Now for this last bead, I think that's like a 14 millimeter bead, and I just ended up having to do one string at a time. It still worked. You just put your bead on first, string it through, and then put your bead threader through again and string it through. And those white and red beads were from a garland that I got from Walmart a few years ago, and I have been using those beads forever. So the garlands are a really great deal for beads. And I'm just going to cut down her little hands. That's so cute, huh? So this little spatula came from the Dollar Tree. It is in the kids section, and it comes with like little pots and pans. It's like a doll tea set type plaything. And I had found it and I was like, oh, these little spatulas are perfect for like gingerbread stuff. And so I've been holding on to them for, I don't know, about a year or so. And I finally found the perfect project for it. So I am just going to glue this little spatula into my little gingerbread girl's hand. So cute. They've been baking. Oh, love it. Now we're going to finish up the final details. I am just adding some frosting hair to my little girl using that paint pen. I am just going to go around until I'm happy with how it looks. And then I'm just going to put a little bow. This is just a little bow that I made, easy peasy bow, and I'm just going to hot glue that right onto her little head. And then I'm going to add a hanger for her. You don't have to add a hanger, but if you want to hang them up, you do. And I think I'm going to probably make a few more of these and put them on my cabinets. They are going to make so much noise over Christmas, and they are going to look so stinking cute. I cannot wait. But look how adorable these little guys are. The second little girl has holding a gingerbread cookie. They definitely have been baking, and I think that these are so fun. Thank you, Gladys, for the inspiration. You are a blessing. All right, our last DIY is some gingerbread cookie trees. And I got these trees from Michael's. They're like shiplap. They were just bare wood. And so I painted them with the Waverly chalk paint in hazelnut. I did cut off the little trunk pieces just using a box knife and a straight edge. It was very easy to do. And now I am going into where those shiplap lines are and adding some frosting with my paint pen. And I am just randomly letting that frosting drip and then filling it in with the paint pen. So easy. And now I'm going to use that paint pen to add some little snowflakes onto my trees, just some little random snowflake shapes, like a cross X with a cross through it. Now these little wooden pieces I picked up from Dollar Tree a long time ago. I'd only seen them once, but I painted it white and then used some washi tape to create a spiral on it and painted that spiral red with the crimson from Waverly. I think that these are like the same sticks that they use in the foam paintbrushes. So if you have some of those foam paintbrushes, you take the foam part off, take that plastic part off, and you've got that wood handle piece. I'm pretty sure that that's what these are. So they're about the same size. So if you have those, definitely use that. And then I just glued them on the back with the hot glue gun. And I'm going to add some little snowflakes to the top instead of stars. And then I'll add some little peppermint pieces into the middle, just for some more embellishment. And again, all those faux candy pieces I either got from Amazon, Temu, Etsy, just various different places. I just pick them up when I see them. So I had these little potted plants. These were from Temu. They are succulents, and I'm going to use the little container for them, but the Dollar Tree has little containers like this, or you could use the little tiny um, terracotta pots that would look really cute. You could paint those up with some with some like frosting on the outside. That would be adorable. But basically, I just put in some marbles into the bottom to make it heavier. Otherwise, it was going to fall over. And then I'm just going to hot glue that all into place. Next, I'm going to use my hot glue gun and I'm going to add some of, I'm going to add some moss. I know, terrible, but it works really great and it makes it look really festive. It's a messy business, but it's okay. Once I get all that moss secured, I am going to give it a little bit of a haircut using my scissors. I just don't want it to hang out over the edge of my pot or be too big underneath the tree. I want to make sure that you can see that candy cane trunk. Next, I'm going to take some red and white gingham ribbon and I'm going to add that with some hot glue all the way around my little container. And I think this just adds a very festive touch. It's pretty simple, but it looks just adorable with those white pots. I knew it just needed a little something extra, but I didn't want to go too overboard. These cookies are pretty decorated, and so I wanted to keep it more simple with the decoration on the pot. So I'll just secure that in the back with some hot glue and then just make a simple bow and hot glue that to the front of the container. And I think that these just turned out so cute. I love them. I think they're going to look adorable with all of my gingerbread decorations this Christmas. I can't wait to put them out. So I want to take a moment to thank Jackie so much for joining me today in this gingerbread collaboration. I just love her and I love her DIYs. If you want an update, stick around. Otherwise, I will see you next time. So I know some of you have been wondering where I've been. And I just wanted to share some of my pictures here. This is some of my painting that I've been doing. And kind of give you a life update. I am working now. I got a job as a dental assistant at a local dentist. And I am loving it. I am having just so much fun and just really enjoying my time there. I just got started a few weeks ago, but I've been working at trying to get a job with them for a while. So I'm really excited and I am feeling super blessed. My girls are all doing really well. They are having a fun summer. We've got projects all over our property that we are doing, and things are going really great. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you to the moon and back. Thank you again to Jackie for playing with me in the gingerbread theme. And I cannot wait to see what you create. Until next time, we'll talk to you later. Bye.